What is your little saying about blue skies and what
Wishing
is
you
it?
blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.
Well, I would say we definitely got blue skies and green lights. And as far as luck, I think we're creating our own luck. But I understand. Thank you, lucky stars. So I understand where that would come from.
You are so beautiful. When I went through the health adventure, which was rectal cancer back in 21, 22, then had all clear scans and then decided, you know what? I'm clear. I'm under no laws but God's. I'm not doing any scans. I'm not going to live my life from one scan to the next. Like, okay, it's all right. I'm just going to trust. When I was in that adventure and in that dark place, Michael, the thing that scared me the most was not even the cancer. It was the fact that I felt that my life had no meaning and no purpose. And that was excruciating.
Wow.
Yeah, it was excruciating. And I would go to bed. I wasn't going to kill myself, and I have no judgment about that. I just wasn't going to do that. But I would
Mm,
go to bed saying to God, if I can't feel purpose and I can't see what others see in me, take me quickly because I can't live a life going through
wow.
the motions. And I remember thinking back then, if I ever come out of this dark place, I will be of more value on the planet than I ever have been. I had no clue what that meant. So,
Hmm.
out of that, January of 25, I was in this breakthrough work that I do. It used to be UIO, Apollonia, that
Yep.
and I was in one of the workshops having dinner. They bring in dinner on Saturday with one of the students and talking about his business. And then he looks at me and he says, "And what do you do?" And I started to say, with no joy in my voice, "I'm an astrologer, I'm a counselor, I'm an interviewer, I'm a blah, blah." But what I said, Michael, for the first time ever, I said, and where it came from, probably the safety of the room, whatever, I said,
It came out of the
it
blue.
came out of the blue. I said, "I'm here to raise the vibration of joy on the planet." And I went,
Done.
whoa,
Who said that?
I know.
You were
The God,
hijacked. You were hijacked by your higher self, and
I was
your higher
hijacked
self.
by
You
the,
really were. You really were. It was time. It was time for that version of you to come forth and stop playing in the Lorelei that you were playing in.
yeah. And it took me to my knees. I'm a vigilant Course in Miracles student, and one of the lessons which Lina guided me to during that adventure was chapter 21 that talks about responsibility for sight. That
Hmm.
I brought this, not you stupid shit, how did you create this, but I invited this experience
Hmm.
and anyway, so and I know almost without a shadow of a doubt, Michael, I could not feel this level of
Hmm.
unabashed joy with
That's
no
beautiful.
apology had I not had that experience.
Can I word something that you
Please.
did not invite it invited you and you accepted the invitation. That is so much more of a humble position, which is much greater for sustaining it and staying in that humble place rather than I invited it. You could just say it invited me and it was my time, so I
And I
accepted the
accepted the invitation.
invitation. And that's really wiser and smarter because it puts the greaterness outside of you so you can continue to grow into it while it's working diligently to do that on your behalf.
That's juicy.
It's very juicy. Like some people say, Dr. Michael, how do you find all the time to do everything you do? I can't believe how many albums you're putting out because I've got like so many new music. If you like music, go on whatever your favorite platform is and look up Michael Samek. I think it's like 24 new albums and they're all amazing songs. And you know, I'm doing a lot. And they're like, how do you find time to do everything? And my answer is time finds me. Do you see how powerful that shift is? And it is a huge shift because I don't have to try to find the time. I shouldn't even begin to put it on me. But if I
Yes.
acknowledge that the time finds me, then I catch what I've been doing with the time based on how life has decreed it, not based on my choices, based on life's choice, based on life's will, not mine. And it's so much better to be living from life's will than my own. And when I'm trying to give credit to myself, I'm taking credit away from the source.
I totally get that. Wow. So this is what I call a connection call. This is to connect with my guest in the nest. Like I'm taking these parts of my heritage, my background.
Hmm.
My father when he did his thing, he talked about having a guest in the nest. Well, I love that. I love that
Hmm.
analogy. I have
The
cancer.
robin's nest.
Yeah, robin's nest. And I mean, I'm Cancer rising. Nest, Cancer. I mean, the sign of Cancer is about nesting. And my dad had a
Hmm.
Cancer moon. We had a big rock on Long Island in our driveway that said Robin's Nest when I was a
Isn't
kid.
that beautiful? See, and aren't we always nesting if we're always growing? And aren't we always in the gestation period? Or aren't we
Certainly.
constantly germinating and percolating? And aren't we always nesting for our greater self? And so, isn't our greater self more of a mystery than who we know we are? Of
Yes.
course it is. So we focus on the mystery, not the current me.
Yes, yes. So my intention with the show, it's not an astrology show. It's a show about joy. And we're going to be inviting the audience to watch or listen to this intimate conversation that you and I are going to have about you. I mean, about what's happening in your life, what you're up to, because I've gotten clear in the last year. I've been doing this almost a year that my criteria for a guest is not someone who's quote famous or it's someone who's up to something.
That's wise because that now you've got something that's rich, that's outside the box that people can
Yeah,
actually learn from rather than disseminating the same old social mores that are out there that
right.
people have studied for lifetimes.
It's like someone who's alive in their life because what I'm discovering as I'm now a student and a teacher of joy, who knew? I mean, I now
Hmm.
say joy is my juice, my jam, and my job. That's my
Right,
job. And
right.
so that's my big umbrella. And I don't even,
That's beautiful.
this is what's so cool, Michael. I don't think about anymore which hat I have on.
That's
Do I
beautiful.
have the astrologer hat on? Do I have, oh, I said that. That was the counselor hat. That's real ego, of course. I just know that it's about the joy. And joy is not circumstance dependent. It's a state of
There you
being.
go.
I can
There you
be in
go.
joy when I'm cleaning out the kitty litter, which I am.
If you could absolutely welcome life unconditionally, then you're not fucking with your own joy. Now your joy is not conditional. But if you can welcome unconditionally anything that life dispenses,
Yes.
believing that it's happening for you, not to you, and you're choosing to play in that field, right? The
Yes.
robin's nest, play in the nest, play in the field, then you're
Yes.
going to find that joy is going to organically follow. It's like making joy an offer it can't refuse. I'm not kidding you. Where you not only are you inviting joy, you end up ushering it in and it doesn't have a choice. You got to get that.
I
Yeah.
think to myself, I'm in a coaching call. You are
You are. I
so
mean, that's that I do that all the
no,
time. I
no,
swear to
no,
God.
no. So let me say, when I got my degree in counseling, I had a business coach at the time. And I think one of the most valuable things she said, and this is pertinent to what you're just doing, you're just naturally sharing you. She said, this made such an impact on me. She said, the things that come the most naturally to us and are the easiest are the things we value the least and take for granted.
There you go.
So my joy, my spirit, because people who know me go, well, I've always seen that in you. It makes to, you know. So here I am now. I have some my, I've had four inheritances in my life and spent every penny of that on different things over the years. My stepmom died almost 2 years ago, and there's a sizable inheritance to my kids and to I mean, they each inherited $200,000. And I'm part of the residual estate. I'm saying this to say, all of a sudden, I mean, it's not about the outer. I know that. It's my prayer has been every day, every time I walk into a breakthrough room, every time I do anything, it's the Rumi quote and it's the Course in Miracle quote. It's the same quote. Go figure, right? 13th
Right.
century, not
Right.
even 100 years old. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you've built against it. It's removing all the protection, all the stuff.
I'll go one further. You can
Okay.
break your hand by focusing on the boards. I'm telling you, it really is being the solution. If you focus on the solution, the barriers will take care of themselves. If you focus on the boards and you break the boards, you'll break your hand. But if you go beyond vision and you go, I'm on the other side of this, I'm liberated, you go right through the boards and you don't break your hand. So the focus is not to focus on obstacles and to get through them. It's to focus as if there are no obstacles and go right there and
Well, let's
forward
set
healing. Go ahead.
we need to send Rumi an email.
Rumi was amazing, and they all Course in Miracles is amazing. And I apologize for the fact that, with all due respect, I don't even understand how this is possible. But if we can update it and upgrade it based on 2026, which Rumi didn't have the benefit of, the Course in Miracles didn't have the benefit of, and we're finding things that are slightly higher and a little better, and it's coming through us, not
So
from
say
us. The
that
boards.
not,
If you focus on the boards, if you're trying to break boards and you focus
which
on the
is
board,
focusing on the
if
barriers.
you the barrier, and you go, I'm going to break this board, and you go, boom, you break your hand because you're hitting the board. But if you go through the board, if your goal is to go down here, let me see if I can show this to you here on the camera. So here's a board, and if you hit the board, you go boom, you stop right at the board. You're trying to break the board right here. But if
Mhm.
I go like I'm trying to hit down here, I'm trying to see, and I go as if there is no board, I'll get right through that board and I won't even break my hand. It's the amazing most phenomena. You have to visualize being on the other side of it. If you focus on the it, don't think of pink elephants. How many times have I said that? If you think of pink elephants and you go, I'm going to get through every obstacle. The first obstacle, pink elephant obstacle. I'm going to get through the pink elephant obstacle. Stop talking about pink elephants and you'll get through it. But if you're talking about it, you're looking at the board. And so you'll never get through it because you're keeping it alive by talking about the obstacle.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can't really get through it, but you can break your hand.
So what's another way to understand? Because we all have put all kinds of,
Let's just say that rain happens. And don't say that you're responsible for the rain, but you do want to welcome the rain unconditionally and find out what being the solution is in the face of rain. So it's unconditional. So your joy is not going to be on the fact that, like, oh my God, it's raining, this sucks. It's like, does it really suck? Or can you are you saying to yourself that you can't handle the rain, or the rain is a negative thing, like it's not happening for you, it's happening to you? Is that what you're saying that you're not saying? Because that's not really good. But if you say that everything is happening for a reason and you live from that place, then every board is a focus point for you to go beyond, like dry mouth water, exhaustion, sleep. So when you're facing quote unquote a board, there are no problems, only calls to answer. So it shows up because it's wise to show up, because if you have dry mouth, it's because you're deficient in water. You are not having to fight dry mouth or get through dry mouth as if it's a blockage or it's a board that you have to break through. It's just an appearance, and you're experiencing it as a sentient being. You're experiencing this, and now you get to say, is this happening for you or is it happening to you? And if you say it's happening to you, you're going to end up with an adversarial relationship to get through that at all costs. And the cost is great because you're not sanctifying. That's why that's such an important piece, sanctification. If you sanctify it and say, this is happening for me, do you know what happens organically? You're grateful for it, grateful for something that a younger, immature version of you could never give thanks for, because a younger version couldn't sanctify it and say, if it's showing up right on time. I'm going to participate in this. And so I'm going to say, I'm sanctifying it. And what happens? Now I'm grateful. Well, guess what, Miss Joyologist? Gratitude is the ultimate joy bringer on the planet. So if you're
yes,
going, I'm going to have joy, and then from joy, I'm going to be grateful, you got it backwards, sister.
that's
You got
gratitude.
to be like, I
No,
am so grateful. Well, is your gratitude unconditional, or are you sanctifying, welcoming everything? If you're sanctifying and welcoming everything, now your gratitude isn't conditional, meaning your joy isn't conditional, meaning then, as whether you know or not, your kindness then won't be conditional, and then your creativity won't be conditional. Acts of kindness come from creativity, and you're kind because you're happy, and you're happy because you're grateful, and you're grateful because you're sanctified. And if you can get that mechanism, successions, if you could understand that and concede to it and don't think of it as this is a Dr. Michaelism. No, this is a thing that came through Dr. Michael that has nothing to do with him. He's just channeling this stuff, and it's not him. It's not him. This is stuff that you get to decide if it holds up, whether I live or die. And
yeah.
if it holds up if I die, then it ain't from me, sister.
I live within the context of all things work together for good. I believe that. It
Good.
says
Well,
it
that's
in,
true, even if you don't believe it. How about that? How about that? How about what?
it
How
works.
about it works even if you're not consciously thinking about it? However, it's wise to consciously think about it.
And it's beautiful to be able to stand in the sacredness of that when someone else is in distress.
It's easier to do it when someone else is in
No,
distress
no,
than
no.
we
But
are.
my point is to hold that for them,
Yeah, that's what I'm
knowing the
saying. It's
truth
easier
of
to
it.
hold it for others than for ourselves, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. We can get so distracted by our own process and the own integrity of our victim, the PTSD and, all the things that are wrong with us. It's much harder to spot ourselves that we are unconditionally awesome than we are other people because it's not us. You can't see the forest for the tree. We could be more objective with other people, but we struggle with ourselves because of our own, like literally limited self concept. We believe we are who we believe we are. Well, we're far greater than who we believe we are.
As you're as you're talking, because I'm so aware that because this is where the astrology is fascinating to me, is because what you lead with, you're a Virgo, which of course is all about service and devotion and dedication and all the other things. But I mean, it really is a very spiritual priestess kind of energy. But you lead with the salesman, you lead with the teacher, you lead with the truth seeker,
I love
Sagittarius.
that. How
I,
about the
I
empowerment offerer? How about that? The empowerment, not even giver, offering. Let people take it. I've honestly loved to dispense empowerment more than education. I mean, seriously, this stuff either holds up because of
Yeah,
awareness
that's that. I
or
like
it's
that
or it's
distinction.
true. It's either look, you got empowerment and you got entitlement. Entitlement are people who just want to give into them, but they don't want to have to earn it. If you're earning it, it's empowerment because entrainment, you're repeating the process, so you're actually earning it. Well, I'm here to empower for every process, every sentient being who's experiencing life to be able to handle life unconditionally and let everything just show up in perfect time and proportion and see it as holy, as sacred, and don't
I'm with
lie to
you.
yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to pretend like this isn't really bad. I'm just going to act as if this is actually happening on my behalf. It's like, you already lost. You already lost. No, don't act as if it's happening on your behalf. It's happening on your behalf and choose to see it. And there's a version of you that's going to go, but this is bullshit. I'm like, yeah, but that's the version that's becoming obsolete if you let it.
Yes. Yes.
You stop fighting on behalf of an inaccurate or incomplete paradigm that actually believes that no, if this is showing up, something is wrong. Something is definitely bad. And it's like, well, there you go. Strongest paradigm wins. So you're sacrificing your growth yet again.
Yeah. For you to use the word empowerment, I do an intention setting technique before every connection call, every show, and one of them is I focus on what I want to have happened and one of the a word that I used when I wrote it down was that we would have that our time together would not only be joy filled, would be inspiring and empowering was the third word that I used.
Well, that's going to happen organically. Our job is not to like mess with that. I mean, like, what is it about our history that doesn't say this is going to happen organically in our sleep, like lightning in a bottle? How
I was
possible?
thinking of lightning in a bottle when you
No,
said
seriously, how is it even possible given our own history and how we are when we're together? Like, I cease to be Dr. Michael when I am with you. I am now the Lorelei version of Dr. Michael, which is different than Dr. Michael. And then you are the Dr.
I'm
Michael version of Lorelei, which is
right.
different than Lorelei. And so now we have these different quote unquote archetypes that have taken over and hijacked us. And as a certain phenomena, I've noticed that when I am the Lorelei version of me and you are the Dr. Michael version of you, I've noticed some phenomena that are reproducible phenomena. And it isn't me. It's me on the drug of you. And it isn't you. It's you on the drug of me. And it's the us that come together. And I could trust that what happens is going to continue to happen because it works that way. I don't have to will it. I just got to sit with you and talk with you and enjoy the
I
phenomena.
cannot tell you how many times I have told and continue to tell the expressing story,
I
and
love
which
that
I'll
story.
probably tell on the, or I'll put it in the write-up or something. When I walked into your office, the little house on Canton Street, and you had a fever blister on your mouth, on your
Right? Right. I'm
and I said,
expressing.
Michael, what is that? And you said, I'm expressing. Sarah, to this day, when something happens in her physical body, she'll go, I know, Mom, I'm expressing. So I just want you to know
That's
that has
beautiful.
carried through
That's
like
supposed
45.
to. That's what's supposed to. Like love wins. These
Love wins.
concepts that are really, really swirlful and light and of the highest order. They're not just empowering of a dense concept or an agenda. These are the highest concepts that I know. I don't know higher than these, or I'd participate in those and give these up in a heartbeat because I'm not attached. And And so if these concepts are as high as they are, and I honestly can say through 30 plus years of independent case studies, they've never let me down. So I am encouraged to keep dispensing them with you. And then I'm also really encouraged to go do your best to use these terms and these concepts. Is it for me? No, I don't care. If I really cared, let me tell you something. If I really cared about fame, money, what do you want to call it? Clicks, hits, views. Don't you think that I would have the highest because that was my value? You think that that's my value and I'm just sucking at it? No, it's not my value. What's my value? This, what's going on right now. This is my value. And people are going to like, Dr. Michael, you got to get this out there. I'm like, look, I'm still not even done supporting my little corner of the world really well. I haven't even done influencing you at the level that I'm capable of based on the integrity of your process and your readiness. I know where you're at. I could feel it every single time, but I'm never going to withhold what I'm going to keep offering to you so that you can get it in your time and there's integrity to your time, but I'm not going to stop dispensing the awesomeness of sanctification, of gratitude, then joy and happiness, and then kindness and creativity. I mean, if you're a joyologist, then you have to know you're at the mercy of gratitude. Your gratitude is at the mercy of sanctification. There's nothing I can do about that. I am so sorry. You can't have joy if you're not grateful, and you can't be grateful if it's not happening for you. And you got to understand that. And to go right to joy, you must be an advocate for gratitude. And you can't even be an advocate for gratitude if you're not unconditionally welcoming or sanctifying everything that shows up. Otherwise, you're an advocate for conditions. And it's like, if it's this condition, fuck gratitude, fuck joy, because you got what you don't want and you're right to not want it, rather than if it's showing up, it's showing up for you. Let's have a cooperative relationship with it. Oh, what happens now? Now I'm grateful that it's showing up. You bet you are, and you need to be. And what does that bring? Joy, happiness. Yes. And don't skip that step just because you're a joyologist. You're not allowed to skip that because then you're not a joyologist. Now,
actually, the handle I'm using, which I love, is Joy Guru.
I love that, Joy Guru. I love that. To be a joy guru, you had to have mastered gratitude, or you're not a joy guru. And to master gratitude, you have to master sanctification. Otherwise, your gratitude is going to be conditional.
When you said, I just got it again. When you said I'm expressing, that was the ultimate in sanctification.
Exactly. That's exactly what that was. You weren't judging it.
You were, oh my God, in a very simple, because when I say that to people, they'll go, what do you mean expressing? I said, this is an expression of you.
The manifestation. It's a show. It's a correlation. It's just showing up. It's integrous. How about that? There's an integrity showing up. And if it's showing up, it's happening because it needs to happen or it wouldn't be happening.
What do you think is the core that unites all these things that you do, your creative albums, your coaching, your marriage, your kids, what?
I think it is newness. I think, honestly, you said it, creative. I think the idea is there's juice in streaming. And I mean, like, channeling, stream of consciousness streaming. I'm talking about like having new ideas come through that the field didn't have for Rumi or Course in Miracles, and to stand on the shoulder of giants, to acknowledge what they are, but then see what new comes in for 2026 that they didn't have access to because they weren't living in 2026, and to constantly be on the cutting edge of whatever is new that can be used, that's now even more hopeful because of the newness, because of the novelty. People can participate in something new that previously they didn't have access to. And so, if you're participating in only that which you have access to, you're going to get the same results. I don't care if it's with Rumi or Course in Miracles, but if you have new stuff, novelty coming in, brand new, cutting edge stuff that's coming through, and you participate in that, well, now all of a sudden you are the new day. You're the new man. You are stream of consciousness because you're accepting the new rather than, oh, it doesn't fit the model from 1817, so I'm not going to do it.
I wonder then what would be then the Rumi 2.0 of that quote. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely blah, blah, blah. What would be the, I don't know, up-leveled version, expanded?
Honestly, I think number one is to acknowledge that we are in what's called an infinite game. There's no ceiling to quality of life improvements. And so that's why I use greaterness and successions. And I think since we're talking about love, I think it's being the greater lover at the door. I think Rumi would love the idea, the notion of there's a greater lover at the door, and that the greater lover is so loving that it's not even going to knock. It's just going to wait there for you to open up the door. And when you open up the door, you're letting the greater lover in, and you're not receiving the greater lover. The greater lover is becoming you. That's really important that you understand that. And it's up to you to let that greater door, that greater lover in the door, to really welcome it in. But now, the minute you welcome it in, you can't see through your own eyes. You have to see through the eyes of the greater lover. That's what Rumi says, I cease to be. I am so in love, I've lost myself in love. That's beautiful. That means that the greater lover came in, and who you previously were, that you quote unquote lost, gave way to a greater lover. And that infinite game, you have to get how important this is, that there's no ceiling to becoming a greater lover. That's why we say, what would love do now? And so when we ask what would love do now, am I asking 1997 version of what Lorelei thought love was? Or am I even asking 2023 version Lorelei what love was? No, I want to know, what is August 23rd, not even today. What is the August 23rd version of Lorelei's love? What would she do? Well, guess what? It's going to be newer than what you already knew. You want a great prayer or a great intention? I'm not kidding you. Talking about your team. Hi, team. I know you know me better than I know myself. What am I ready to learn right now?
You're talking about the celestial team. Is that what?
Yeah, exactly. Angels, guides,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all versions of you, higher selves, gods, single God, doesn't matter. But hi, team, I know you know me better than I know myself. What am I actually ready to learn right now that I don't already know? That's really huge, that I don't already know. That forces you to go outside of confirmation bias. It forces you to keep your current self, and it forces you to go, what am I ready to learn that's new? I don't know right now, that I've never known, not just known and forgotten. Not, no, 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 no. You love that one. You love to dust things off that you've forgotten and act like it's new. No, I'm talking new. You've never heard of it before. A new thought, a new idea. Now you're in the mystery, which means you don't know who you are. You don't know what's coming. You have no idea what that is, but at least you're opening to it and you're asking for it instead of just chasing your own tail. So something as seemingly benign as just asking for, what am I ready to learn that I don't currently know? What is it? Try practicing that and staying the same. Try, because you're going to get new insights that current you have blind spots for, but you're not even asking to see those blind spots because you're remaining current you. But if
Yeah.
you go, hey, what am I ready to merge into? What am I going to see that I don't already see?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a specific kind of asking. And that's a wise to ask that. It's silly to not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just chasing your own tail, going, well, I want to buy a ticket to the same movie again. I don't want to see that other movie. I want to buy the same movie again. Hi, I'm going to buy the same.
Yeah.
Hi, hey, ticket. I would like a ticket for one for Lorelei 2025. Please give me a movie. I want to see Lorelei. And you know everything. And you go, okay, what do I know about me? What's my position on this? Like, what about the position you don't even know yet?
I don't even know.
That's right. And what if you went into that? What if you romanced the mystery and the not knowing rather than it being a form of instability, unsafe? What if you turn around and you romance the mystery so much that uncertainty was your drug, that you knew that you were on the precipice of a great
I was
growth spurt
uncertain.
because of your uncertainty, and
Yeah.
you romanced the heck out of that
Mhm.
rather than, no, I need stability. I need everything to feel good. Well, then you're never going to grow.
There's so many things I want to share with you, right? As I'm listening to you, it's almost like you're on, I know this is going to sound weird. You're on your syndicated talk show all over I mean, just watching
Let's
you
do
and
it. Why
no,
can't
no.
you get, why can't you be the catalyst for that? Why don't you, what if I'm Ed McMahon and you're Johnny Carson and I don't care to be Ed McMahon. I don't care to be Johnny Carson. What if I'm a syndicated show and it's a big secret that I'm dispensing all of this and you get all the love? I'm happy with that.
So here's another thing I just want to say. So just stay with me here. This is a bit of technical, but you'll get it. So your window to the world is Sagittarius, is
Hmm.
the citizen of the world, all those Sag things,
Hmm.
optimistic, enthusiastic. There's a pony in there
And
somewhere,
I'm
all
Sag
that stuff.
Rising, so that's why you're bringing that up because you know that.
But here's what's interesting. So the planet that is associated with Sagittarius is Jupiter.
Hmm.
Jupiter's the planet of wisdom, growth, all that.
Hmm.
Jupiter, about 2 months ago, for the next year, is in Leo. which means the planet that is the guardian angel of your chart has now moved into this energy where it hasn't
That's
been for
awesome.
12 years
That's
of
awesome.
self-expression, I mean of the heart, generosity, all that stuff. So it's almost like as I'm watching you and listening to you, it's like I said, okay, Michael,
It's
go. And
all
I
coming
push
together.
the
It's
tape
clicking,
and you
but
just
but it's all coming. It's all coming together, and it all fits perfectly for what you know. It's not conflicting with what you know. If anything, it's
oh,
affirming how incredibly on you are. And I love the foreshadowing. I love that. I love getting foreshadows. And so I
oh, I
wrote a
love
book
that
years
word
ago called The
foreshadowing.
Guardian Within. And here you are talking about the guardian. And so do you understand how important it is to be like the guardian within, to really get that archetype, to not be you, the child loose in the candy store and making choice on what the child wants, but that you're actually spotting yourself and saying, what does the child need? And I'm going to have my own back rather than just be hedonistic to whatever I want. I'm going to let the child, what do I, ego, what, me. I'm going to be the guardian within, and I'm going to spot my child so well that the child can't help but grow rather than letting the child stay at its current level. So the guardian within is so important because it directs people to use that perspective, that archetype, that version, those eyes, see from those eyes, because there's so much that comes from that just by having yourself be the guardian of yourself. Now,
Yeah.
once you're the guardian of yourself, you're not advocating for yourself anymore. You're advocating for greater you. You understand how important this is?
What's so fascinating that we're having this kind of conversation is because the planetary weather now for everybody, the cosmic setup in terms of the outer planets, we've never seen it before. There's so much about, so everything that you're saying, it's like what's going on in my head is everyone, whether they're conscious of it or not, is bringing a new version of themselves online. That's what's happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And everything, so much of what you're saying, it's almost like, okay, guys, here's the handbook. You
Right,
want to know.
exactly. How about choose to be conscious of it? How about that? How about just choosing to see it, to spot it, and not from your eyes, but from the eyes of the guardian, that you have much more objectivity and you can see more of
So
your
is the
blind spots.
guardian
Good.
your higher self? Is that another term
The
for?
Guardian, it's a hat we wear. You said you didn't have to wear the hats, but I love how you say you don't have to wear the astrology hat, and you explained so well from the astrology hat, and you did so well from that hat. So you can't say that you don't do that, but you realize you're not just that. You realize
My,
that there are
my ego's not focused there anymore. Like,
but when it came in organically, you certainly didn't deny it either. You certainly
no.
didn't fight back, push back. You certainly just let her rip, right? And that's beautiful. And so the guardian archetype is just that. It's just an archetype that's in us that has us get outside of ourselves, our current selves, thinking that that's the totality of who we are, and start seeing from the greater possibility, the greater potential, the creativity, the newness, the greater lover, all of that. And so that term, the guardian archetype or the guardian within, is to encourage you to get outside yourself because that is the toughest journey on the planet. The greatest thing we'll ever face is ourselves. Well, the way we win that is when we're in that guardian perspective. Now, is that AKA to your higher self? Sure. Is it AKA to life's intelligence? Sure. God? Sure. How about nature? Sure. All those things. They're all AKA. They're all synonymous. But people really understand the guardian within means it's personal to you. And that personal to you is so important because it's the you that you got to get away from. That's the greatest challenge you'll ever face in this life is current you. So if you go to the guardian in you, the guardian within, even though, yes, it's God, it's life's intelligence, but most people who are really into themselves don't really go to God or the wisdom as much as they would go, oh, the guardian within me, that's in me. And so it gets that saliva, you start, ooh, the guardian within, yeah. And now you start understanding self-love better than you could have ever imagined because you're advocating for greater you, not current you that can't grow. You understand?
Yes, I totally
Cool,
understand.
cool, cool.
So this is almost like after I mean, like it's almost like I don't even know the word. If I ask in asking you the question, it almost seems super. I can't think of the word. What brings you joy?
Joy brings me. I mean, once I give that, now that's not conditional. I don't have to label it and then follow it like a recipe or a conveyor belt. I'm just going to claim that joy brings me and hold that. So this way, it can be more unconditional and not conditional based on whatever definitions I give it or strategies I give it, whatever. If I were to answer your question, what happens everything that's outside of those things?
Mm.
Right. Seriously. So why would I want to do that? If I want joy to be unconditional, and I do, then I'm just going to concede to the fact that joy brings me. Now, people turn around and say, well, what about when you're in great pain? It's still, there you go. Well, joy brings me. I mean, like, that's it. So you're trying to, people love to play
Flesh
devil's
that,
advocate. Go ahead.
Michael, flesh that out for me.
Where do you find the time? Time finds me. Like, I mean, like, why does the word joy make it that you need it fleshed out, but time you don't? Well, I mean, like seriously,
Yeah,
explain
that's a good
why
question.
it's different. Like, I don't understand. If joy finds me and it's always knocking the greater lover at the door, it's always there knocking on my door, right? It found me. It knows that I'm there. And my job is just to concede to it, right? I don't have to do anything. And then I don't even have to define what it is because I need to be able to concede to it in every moment, independent of how it shows up. So that's really key that it could be whatever. You ever watch K-Pax where the one guy says to, Kevin Spacey, you haven't given me my purpose. And he goes, your purpose is to stay here and be ready for anything. That is so friggin' beautiful because you can't turn around and say, I'm going to give you a specific purpose. And then you're out there to do that purpose. And if you're not doing that purpose, then you're not being purposeful. That here is your purpose. But he gave him a significantly better purpose. It could be anything. Do you understand how important that is? I call that unconditional welcoming. That's such an important part to sanctification, to sanctify, to welcome unconditionally. And so if I were to answer your question because you asked it, I would put my joy in whatever those answers were box. And with all due respect to you, I'm not interested in doing that. Joy finds me.
Yeah, that would be a good thing for me to ask you, I think, on the show because yeah, joy finds.
So you're basically using this. I love this. So let me just give you a great example. So I don't know if you knew about Forward Healing, and there was a pilot that was made on behalf of Forward Healing, and the woman came out and
You're talking about your stuff, the stuff that you
yeah,
created.
it was a pilot that was on
Yeah, I saw
PBS.
that. I saw
Okay,
that.
then
That
you
was a few
okay.
years.
Woman came out and had her assistant give me the list of questions they were going to ask me, and she handed the card to me and said, uh, "These are the questions." And I said, "I don't want to look them over," and she was amazed, and she's like, and I said, "I actually don't want the questions. I don't want to know." So she went back, and all of a sudden, the head honcho herself comes out with this ridiculous energy, and she's the boss, and so when she spoke with a loud tone, and she really did want everybody to watch. It wasn't like just her and I. She purposely made it loud and boisterous and said, my assistant said you don't want the questions. And she's saying this, everybody's in earshot. And she goes, what are you gonna wing it? Like that. And I felt the energy of it. And I just said, and I just smiled, of course. I laughed. I was like, no, I'm not gonna wing it. I just want my answers to be organic. And you could hear, ooh. Everybody was, and she was like, she left with her tail between her legs. She wasn't happy because I wasn't going to take the questions. And so this way, because I didn't know what was coming, everything was organic. And so what did you think? Lightning in a bottle was able to happen rather than lightning rehearsed. Do you get it?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
even though you're going, we could talk about that next week, it's like, this should have been the show. Good luck getting this juice. You may want to just release this as the show. I'm serious. And then everybody will know you're doing this and you'll know it's organic because you're releasing this. How vulnerable is that rather than, oh, okay, I got to decide what's good, what's bad, what should be talked about, what should be spoken, what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do, oh, let me think about that. It's like drooling, like, oh, your will. Okay, cute.
I'm going to come up with an episode description because that goes on the network.
Beautiful.
A
Well,
description
after
and
this is all done, if this is all done, why don't you look it over and then decide what the name of what this
I mean,
was?
I'm just thinking the whole lightning in a bottle thing needs to
Right.
be somehow in the title. I'm not sure how, but
What if you did a preview when you walked in? You say, "Hi, I'm Lorelei, and today's episode is called Lightning in a Bottle." And let me just tell you what I do. I normally do this thing where I'm talking to people, and I like to have a pre-call and everything like that. And then my guest turned around and said that this should be the thing. And so we're gonna just do so. Lightning in a Bottle. Please enjoy. This is the pre-call that ended up being the episode. Enjoy. How could that be more lightning in a bottle than
When
that?
you say lightning in a bottle, what is that I mean, what is that for you? What is that? What is that
That
energy?
means that you're capitalizing on stream of consciousness, on something that happens through life non-linearly, and I would say you're capitalizing on it. Whatever the word is, you're absolutely getting all of the juice that's coming from a bolt of lightning, and that's enough. You don't need to ignore that bolt for another bolt. That every moment is lightning in a bottle, and you take it and you run with it and you grow from it and you expand it. You
Yeah.
work on it. That's your new jumping off point. That's your new baseline.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. And that in itself, and it's just a flash. It's just a spark, like synapses, like you know what I'm saying? All the electrical impulses in the brain. It's just an arc, if you will. And it's enough. It's enough because from that you can jump. There's a new jumping off point because of
Mhm.
what came out. I would say stream of consciousness out of the blue. It just came out of the blue. And the energy of this energy, and this energy is more valuable than trying to manifest this energy in a studio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let the
Yeah.
people feel the juice. People feel my juice. They definitely feel my juice.
Yeah, they're knocked over by your juice.
Well, but I know that I'm letting it go. I know that I'm not sitting here with like again maniacal like oh I'm drooling. Oh, we can use that. Oh, let's use that soundbite. Oh, let's leave that out. Oh, and this is good. It's like it's all good. What are you kidding? Stop with your. It's all unconditional welcoming. It's all good. You're not the arbiter of truth. You're not.
Mm.
You're not. You're not the arbiter of what's good. You're only the arbiter of you, and even you is begging to be obsolete. Begging. Your greaterness wants current you that you're an authority of to be obsolete. And if you're advocating for greater you can't even advocate for what you know to be true. You can't. But if you allow lightning in a bottle to keep striking, because it does keep striking, and you're conceding to that it's always happening and it's ongoing, and that's going to be how I live my life, stream of consciousness. And I know that the corporate world doesn't like this stuff. I believe me. I know there are a lot of people that have their own agendas. You know what I mean? They're very aggressive with their agendas, which causes corruption. How about that line? The more ambitious you are with an agenda, the more you are susceptible to corruption. How about that? Talk
Mhm.
about being blinded by ambition. And so people who are paid to have agendas and ambition are going to go, okay, well, I can't really do this lightning in a bottle stuff. And it's like, well, that's right. You're a pre-screened audience out of this world. But there are a lot of people in there that aren't in corporate America that are not having to satisfy their own whatever role, hat, gender, their job description, that they can turn around. They can go, this is for me. This is something that I can use when I'm not working. When I'm making love to my husband or my wife, or I'm out there and I'm communicating with my kids or my neighbor. This is beautiful. Or how about I'm being an advocate for my own emergence, for my own well being. This comes in very handy, not the stuff that I do while I'm working 9 to 5. That's the stuff they pay me for to do that. And I agree to that because there's an exchange of money. So I sacrifice this stuff for my job to earn this living. And yet this is beyond that. This is not for that. And I have great respect I really do have great respect for all the businesses and companies. And I'm not joking. They all have their place in this world. But this stuff, when it's talking about personal, you personally, and everybody who's listening, try to ignore this just because you're struggling to take these concepts and put it in the triangle in a square box, trying to fit it into your corporate hat and your corporate role play. Make peace with the fact that you have an agenda. Make
Yeah,
peace with it. Make peace that you're getting paid to perform. That it isn't about quality of life at work. It's about quantity of how well are you performing, because your paycheck is going to come based on numbers, hard numbers. And that's fine. But if you can work on yourself, the quality of your life, and keep emerging, you'll be surprised how you'll have more strategies to be able to succeed in the corporate world. It's incredible. And you can't separate the two. You
yeah,
can't. It's impossible. If you're growing personally, your professional life is going to get the benefit.
totally. It's interesting. When I was in personnel and recruited for companies that didn't have a personnel resource, I would often say, but I wasn't living it until now. I would
Right.
say, when you do what you love, work feels like play. It didn't feel
Right.
like play to me.
There it is. There
It
it
does
is.
now.
Well, let me ask you something. How long have you known me? Be honest. I mean, seriously, aren't you amazed that even though you know me as well, and I have been continuously and will continuously be ever generous with you every time you call, I am there and I do everything and I knock it out of the park every time. We never have not. And that's not an ego thing. I'm just citing what's true. And yet there's still, for whatever reason, no real I want to study this stuff. I want to put this in my life because I like the way he makes me feel and I want to bring this into my life. No, I'd rather cite Rumi and Course in Miracles, which you've been doing for a long time, but this is new. Do you understand? This has your emergence in it. If you participate in these ideas, in these concepts, you're going to be ushering your greater you. And so, what's the pushback? You're not ready. It hasn't been your time. There's an integrity to your process. And because there's been an integrity to your process, you've been germinating, waiting for you to really be an advocate for everything that you've heard me say for over 30 years.
Mhm.
Over 30 years. And yet there's still a space between you and this work. Not you and me, you and the concepts that I dispense, because this is coming through me. It's not me. Okay, let's get honest about that. But you are allowed, like when you hear Bonnie talk about sanctification. Bonnie says sanctification all the time. Sanctification, sanctification, sanctification. And here I am, you're talking joy, and I'm going joy, gratitude, gratitude, sanctification. And so when are you going to concede? Or do you think that, no, I want joy to be without sanctification and without gratitude? It's like, well, you could do that, but now it's conditional. Good luck. Now you can only be so successful because joy has to meet certain conditions. That's not the way to do joyology, Joy Guru. It's got to be unconditional. And you can't be attached to an outcome. I can't be attached to you studying this work, and I'm not. But I am going to point it out. Isn't it fascinating that you don't, and that you don't channel this stuff yourself? Like, isn't that interesting? What's the deal with that? Why are you withholding? People want to be able to express this stuff through themselves so they can be a vortex of this same energy that I'm proposing every human being can. You just have to play within these concepts or be willing to consider the possibility that maybe these concepts are so life-changing that you could be more willing to play with them. Literally in the robin's nest, play with them in the robin's nest rather than ignore them and then try your best to get the kind of results that playing with these are going to give you.
So, what is it that you desire for every sentient being that crosses your path?
That they, in their own time, are more conscious about their timing and their integrity, and they have their own back, that they don't force, they don't push, they cooperate with the recipe of their own recipe for success, and that they know that there is a recipe for success. They don't ignore that or deny that or act like that's just a concept. And even if it was just a concept, it is a ridiculously wise concept to participate in, even if it's wrong, if it were wrong, if it could be wrong, and maybe it is. But as far as making mistakes, you're better off making a mistake here and considering that it's true. And I
Mhm.
want people to really be more conscious. So whenever you could say, everybody knows that they have an extraordinary path and everybody is on an extraordinary path. And that's true. But that's even true if it's unconscious. What if you were consciously on an extraordinary path? Wouldn't that almost stretch the I guess what are the possibility of what it means to be human? Could you imagine? I mean, this is what I call wielding your pristine power. If you can observe things from a perspective of, say, the guardian within, that just not just seeing it from yourself, but from a big 40,000-foot view where you're looking down and actually having your own back rather than just being the kid in the candy store that just wants candy or wants this or just keeps talking on behalf of the kid in the candy store. But if you were really going, I am on an extraordinary path, and this is what makes me extraordinary, or this version of me, or the version of me that's going to become obsolete as soon as I pass this baton to greater me. And this is what it is. This is my next step. And I am aware that this is my extraordinary path, not philosophical. Well, everybody's on an extraordinary path, but nothing changes. If they can do it consciously, mindfully, with great presence, with great awareness, that's
Mhm.
beautiful rather than hiding behind the philosophy of it. Even if the philosophy is accurate, that everybody's on an extraordinary path, that doesn't mean everybody's doing it consciously.
Totally. Well,
There you
here's a
go.
path. How do you like the yellow brick road?
I love it. I think we should all follow it. Why can't the yellow brick road be fields of gold? And why
Mm,
not walk it? Why not every time you take a step, right where it touches, it lightens up because every step is on your field of gold. And what if that wasn't philosophy? What if you participated in that consciously? You don't think it would change whether you go straight, turn left, turn around, go at a 45-degree angle, 135-degree angle? Don't you think if you knew that every step was the field of gold unconditionally, don't you think that life would then be able to direct you better than you could ever direct yourself?
absolutely.
There you go. There you go.
Absolutely.
There you
Um, this is going to be so fun. So we'll need to find a time that works for you to pre-record because you're going away the week of your birthday, correct?
hmm I am available the Friday after my birthday, especially.
That would be the live show. Then we wouldn't need to pre-record.
That's perfect. Then let's look
Okay,
at that. Then let's look at that. Just what time is the show?
3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to process all this. I'm going to watch this,
Good.
and then
Send
come
it
up
to
with,
me because I'll post it. I'm going to post it just as it is. How's
okay,
that? How's that for a thank you? For
wow.
that's your greatest thank you to me is I will post this as a candles and coffee episode. How's that? And I'll name it Lightning in a Bottle. How about that?
I gotta say, you get more handsome as you get older. You've always
Wow.
been
Thank you.
adorable, but you
Thank
are
you.
really the hair, the whole, yeah.
Thank you.
You
What
look
hair? Oh my
what?
God. I got no hair, but at least I'm not bald, but I was scalped. My son, who was he's in the Marines, but he just came back from boot camp. They scalped him. And I guess not to be outdone, they took all my hair off. And I didn't want it this way, but they did it this way. And I'm surprised how many people like it this way. I just know that I wasn't one of them, but I'm learning to love it unconditionally.
I love you.
I love you.
We're
All
gonna
right.
have so much fun.
All right, beautiful. Well, keep me posted and I love you and this was awesome.
I love you so much, and you've given me a lot of stuff to think about, and I appreciate
Good. That's beautiful. All
it.
right,
Love you.
beautiful.
Mwah.
Have a beautiful day.
You too,
I
sweetie. Bye-bye.
enjoyed it. Bye.